y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Figures in Action. And today I bring to you this destroyed office building. I don't even know what I'm going to call it, but it was basically contacted by someone who was actually looking for two dials. So this is just one of two for that particular person, but she wanted something Avengers like, and she wanted it to be something her son may recognize, something her son can, I guess this is for her younger son, wanted, I don't know, I guess she wanted like an office building. And I told her that it may be a good idea. And she actually did say she wanted it destroyed. So she had an idea. So what I told her is what I can create is like the side of an office building, maybe an Avengers building, or in this case, an Avengers building that was near the destruction of New York City during Avengers 1? No, 2? Sokovia was 1 or 2, whatever, you guys know. And also wanted something for Spidey to hang off of. So those were kind of the, or to swing off of, or you know, so those were kind of, that was kind of the criteria for this. So real quick, dimensions, we're looking at 18 inches across. It is 14 inches at the tallest point, and it is 12.5 inches deep. So I said, you know what, let me create like a balcony type of situation. So if she wanted, or if he wanted to put Spidey on top or have him swinging, you know, kind of from there down, he could do that. She also mentioned at some point, she mentioned an electricity pole, but I guess I didn't write it down, and then I looked back on the notes, and in fact she did request that, so hooked this up for her. So let's go through what materials I used and how I went about this. So insulation foam was obviously what I used for most of these projects. Wanted to also make a couple different, well, originally what I did is I created two pillars, and after creating them I realized that if I had put one here and here, it would have covered the door. So instead I just took on and kind of broke it in half and made it kind of cool, made it so that you can kind of put it back together. And so even though it's kind of cracked, you can stand it up and work effects off of it. In other words, you can have somebody kind of crashing through it. I had posted a picture where Carnage had taken one of these Hydra soldiers, kind of busted his head into the side of the pillar. So you have the option of doing that. The other one is pretty permanent, doesn't break away but can come off, and as you can see, the balcony will collapse. So it gives him a couple different options in terms of putting his figures in here and kind of hooking it up. The windows, or the kind of the cracked windows that I use, or not cracked windows, but I use action figure packaging, as I've done with most of these. They're sturdy enough, they can be cut and manipulated. In this case, what I did, I tried something new. I had scored this office window before with kind of these lines going across it, and then put some black wash in the lines, and I thought it came out great, so I wanted to try that effect here. It looks pretty cool. You can see it there. So basically what I did is I just took like that sewing needle that I usually use, and kind of just scratched the parts on, or the lines on where the cracks would be. Just put some black paint in there, and it just wiped it down, so you can see the effects that made, and I thought that looked pretty cool. Did a border on each of the windows using basswood, I'm sure. Actually, I think that was balsa wood. I think that, let me see. Yep, balsa wood. Usually balsa wood is a little softer, and you can just kind of poke it and you can feel it. It's almost like foam. Was recently at this hardware store with Joanne, further from, or a hardware store that we normally don't go to. I was taking a train into Boston, I had a few minutes, and I went in and they had these little guys. They were like, I don't know, 59 cents or maybe $1.20, somewhere between 60 cents and $1.20, and I just grabbed a couple of them. They come in silver. They also have the mesh behind them, and I just spray painted this in black, but I thought it's a perfect fit for this scale dial. When I finished, I guess originally I just wanted to kind of create this destroyed building, but when I finished and I showed her the picture, she mentioned that she wanted it to be more associated with the Avengers. So just got some vellum paper, printed an Avengers logo on it, cut it out, glued it there with a spray adhesive, and it still has that translucent property, so you can shine a light behind it. Although I don't think this is not really for action figure photography. I think this is more like a play set for her son. So I approach all of these projects the same way, as if somebody's going to take pictures and so forth. So just kind of always keeping that in mind. So even if ultimately that does not get used, for example, that does not get lit from behind and it doesn't really give the effect that it's meant to give, that's all right too. So yeah, so everything is installation foam board. Same thing here. This is installation foam board. What I did, cut out 1 inch and just cut out the edges and just use sandpaper to make it round and make it look like that kind of that electricity pole. And this is just basswood glued together. What I did for I actually had a like this old I don't know if it was, I don't think it was Dre Beats, but it was just this old let me see if you can see it here, headphones. And so what I did is connected it there with the hot glue, and then just kind of poked the hole here on the balcony of the dial. And the cool thing is that it is permanent on the pole, so that when you take this apart, it just kind of hangs off of it. So even if you wanted to do something where you just wanted to kind of hang and just kind of, you know, it was destroyed or whatever, you can do that too. So that gives it a couple different options. What else? That's it pretty much for the materials. Nothing too fancy here. Did create kind of a balcony, same deal with the windows there as well. So the idea being that this was a skyscraper at some point and it just got leveled. Let me see if there's anything else. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. Left side, I just want to put a hydro soldier in there for scale. We can now take it apart and show you guys how that looks, and a couple close-ups of the back wall there. So as I said, this removes from here, so it's easy enough just to kind of rock out a round hole on the base. But like I was telling you guys, you can just kind of, and those are there permanently. So that's that. Again, these are removable. Obviously this is removable. Once you do that, the top here collapses as well. Make sure to paint the bottom there smoother. So I think and real quick, now that I see this, a lot of times you guys, or some of you guys, won't texture the foam, and then what happens is that you get whatever was created in terms of any dents or anything that the manufacturer made or create or you know was on that board. It's kind of highlight. So a lot of times it's not a good look. So always make sure that you texture if that is the goal, so that you don't see some of the things that you see here. But in this case it didn't matter because this was the bottom of the balcony, so it's not something that's going to be highlighted, and usually that's a smooth surface, and I just couldn't see it being destroyed from the bottom up, especially being a balcony. Then you got the sidewall here, you got this here, and again I just wanted to give you guys kind of a close-up of the logo. The idea here was one of those glass doors that just you know, kind of slide open or whatever, or pop out, and did the little details there of how you would lock it, and just created some cracks and just wanted it to not be completely broken away, so we can and it was a good thing because ultimately the logo fit on there perfectly. And as you can see there, like I was telling you guys, the kind of those black lines that were scored in look pretty decent. Yeah, so this is it, and once you kind of stack it all together, as I usually like to do, give you guys an idea of what this looks. Although when it's together, it's nice and big, but when you put an action figure next to it, once it breaks down, the height is about 6 inches when it's all stacked up together. And again, easy to put away, easy to ship, so forth and so on. So, alright, so I'm gonna throw on some pictures at the end of this video. Hope y'all like it. And I am out. Peace.